this week's episode of LGHL Access, we give you the trending news in the LGHL, the lines of the week, the Rebels Corner, and the top 10 power rankings. All this coming up right now. And welcome to the Week 3 edition of the LGHL Access. Got a little smaller crew this week. I've got Garis and Phi. This episode, we've got our lineups of the week, Rebels Corner, and the top 10 power rankings. How you doing tonight, guys?
Doing good. Glad to be back for another week. I mean, kind of a shorter week, but for hosts. But other than that, same show.
Yeah. Phi?
We weeded out all the other guys and let the most important, up-to-date, best reporters in to bring you guys the news of the week.
Yeah, I agree. Getting rid of that 5 was definitely the best move we made.
I mean, he gave us some great things, but other than that, we didn't really need his dead weight. Just joking.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's only 3 of us, but should be a quicker show for you guys. I like having more people, especially when it's Penguin and Master, both two good fellas. But we're going to start off with the topics. I know it was a new thing we started next week. I liked how it went over. It was good to talk about some of the topics. We've got 3 of them, one that's off topic. But we're going to start with the first one that's on topic, and one that I've noticed. I don't know if any other owners have noticed. Garis would be the only other opinion because Phi and I, obviously same organization, but game start times. And, I'm sure Arizona's going to hear this and roll their eyes, but, it happened tonight where their guys really didn't even get on until 9:10, and I know technically it's not past forfeit time, As far as I'm concerned, it's 5 after, and then you ask for 15 if you're having connection issues. Clearly, you're not having connection issues if you're getting on that late. I understand. It's tough to get on the game in the first place, but what's incredibly frustrating is why not just make the game times 9:15 and my team will get on at that time too. We don't want to get on and sit and wait 15, 20 minutes. It's pretty annoying. Not sure if any other owners are having this issue, but I'm going to assume so, being Arizona is definitely not the only team that has done it. Garis, what have you seen on it?
I don't know if it's been necessarily connection issues, but I think last night for my team and San Jose, I think they had connection issues. They didn't start the game until like 30 after, which was kind of surprising. I don't know if it's connection issues. AutoJets was trying to rectify the issue, but. Yeah, I've seen a whole bunch. Not necessarily connection issues, just people showing up in general, and they've been just scrambling to get people, and people are not showing up, and it's been frustrating because unfortunately, the majority of the community do not enjoy playing this game whatsoever. They just only get on to play LG. I just try to play this game, just try to get used to it and whatnot, new system, whatnot. But yeah, it's frustrating for everyone because I don't think anyone really wants to be on this game too long, enjoying COD or whatever, Fallout, whatever game it is.
Right, and let me reword it. It's not that it's frustrating with the wait, but I am totally okay with it if you're in there at 9 o'clock and you say, oh, hey, man, I've got guys that aren't showing up, let me get some ECUs, or, hey, they're going to be on, they're running a little late, and let's say the rest of his guys got in at 9:10. No harm, no foul. At least you're showing to get there on time. The fact that everyone signed on and everyone joined at that time tells me that they were ready. They just didn't feel like showing up on time, and that annoys the crap out of me because no one wants to sit on the box and do nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm available most nights, but I don't care to spend my free time just sitting and staring at the NHL screen. So
yeah, especially waiting for club and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. So Phi, you had to deal with it tonight. You care to give your input on that?
Well, yeah, like you said, it's not us trying to pick on Arizona. That we're just using this as an example because that's what happened to us tonight. And, the vast majority of us have been around this league for seasons or years even, and we all know what time the games start. And we all know what time we should be on, gathering together, getting ready to start up the game. And it feels like with the new lobby system, with the lack of a chat box, and the unavailability of a timestamp. In my opinion, people are taking advantage of it. When you see managers not logging on until 7 minutes after the hour to get their guys together and then they request time, you have games in 1 hour blocks back to back, and say there's a lag out or a connection issue, you have to restart the game, you start running into the next game times, and it can be a problem down the road, especially come playoff times. I mean, geez, can you imagine if guys are trying not to forfeit and getting their guys together last second in a playoff, and then you have things falling apart, restarting, and then you have to push the other game time back, and you have issues in that one. I mean, in these later games, in the times, the Monday and Wednesday time slots, when you have 11 o'clock start times, guys might be playing into 12 or 12:30 if things don't go right. So, I'm one of those guys. I'm on at least 10 minutes prior to game time. It's not hard to do. We all know we have to be there. I don't know why their teams aren't doing what we've always done.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, once you start having those lag issues, then you're talking so I've seen some people in the chat box say, you're starting 10:30 for a game. That sucks. You're telling me you got on the game at 10 o'clock and wait around for a half hour. So, that's my rant on that subject. I mean, hopefully it cleans itself up. We are in week 3. I haven't seen any improvements, so that kind of tells me there won't be. Next topic is the EA Game Changers. A big subject going around with the vote for a new person to go with Tony and Nuge, I believe, to test the game out, input, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Notable names on there that I've noticed were Chariot. I think Tiago was on there. Dark Chariot, I already said him. Brody, our commissioner, who I've personally voted for, I feel is the best. Gives us, I think it's the best for our community. And the other one that it was a very close second for me was J Money. I really like J Money, and I like his videos, his little tutorials, on how to play goalie, stuff like that. I like what he brings to this league, not only the game. So if Brody wasn't there, my vote would have been for J Money. But I feel like Brody is our commissioner. He's going to do what he feels is right for this league. If you don't vote for him, I don't see why you're playing in LG.
Yeah, I mean, I personally voted for Brody myself. No offense to J Money. J Money's a great guy, but in terms of overall voice and reaching out to everyone, I would say Brody, obviously commissioner of the league, can get input from both Tony Nuge and from Ozzy, Tris, and even from our community. But the thing that worries me with the amount of names that are on the list, I don't know how many actually know who Brody is outside of our Sixes community and just in the general NHL community. But, I mean, I guess through, Owe and Nuge, Tony, and whoever is both on EA and LG for just posting on the forums, they can just try to advocate for Brody. I mean, I'd personally love to see Brody. I mean, because I think he will do the most, crap, lost my train of thought. But no, the most overall for us. So I personally think that Brody should be the winner for the new Game Changers.
Yeah, and it's nice that we already have 2 guys that are already on LG that are on the Game Changers, but somebody that's a little more tied up with the league rules would be excellent. I mean, I'm not trying to bust Nuge or Tony's balls about it, but obviously we weren't happy with this game. I'm sure they said what they could and did whatever they could to make this game as good as it is. I like the game. Personally, I don't think the game's that bad. Besides the lobby and connection issues and some, hiccups during the game, I mean, is it really that bad, guys? I mean, come on. We had to play in the 360 last year and literally play a recycle game. It's like they took the game, took the label up, put 15 on, and gave it to us last year. So, really, it's not that bad. Fi, what do you have to say about the...
Well, like you guys mentioned it, J Money's been a pretty vocal member of the community for a while. It's good that he put his name in the hat, but when it comes down to it, Brody is the commissioner, and you've already stated, he knows the ins and outs of the league. He knows our rules. He's going to do what's best for not just the top players, but the entire community. And I think it's kind of a no-brainer to add him to that team of Tony and Nuge. So, barring any other EA forum presence guys getting the nod, we should expect to see Brody as a new member of that team.
I think if Brody wins it, I think we should be expecting some kind of calendar with fireman photos and Nuge in his onesie pajamas. I think it would sell. It'd be a great hit. Trish would offer him on the website, and then they're going to be together. Man, I see nothing but potential. But no, seriously, I hope Brody wins it. It would be an excellent addition to Game Changers, and it would be such great ties with the league and with NHL, and I think would definitely do everything and benefit for us without
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, last topic, I said there was one that was off topic of our site, but a player of mine, Foot X3, I'm sure some of you already saw the thread. If you go on the LGHL forums, he has a thread asking for donations for a friend of his that is from France. Was hit hard by the tragedies. His family is very, very close to what happened, and I'm not going to go into details, but they're looking for donations to try and send him out to go visit his family and be with them for the holiday season. So something I wanted to bring up, and hopefully more people will donate. They're already gathering quite a bit of money, so they have their goal there. The link to the site's right there on GoFundMe. So if you guys would want to do a good deed for Christmas, there it is right there. Foot's a trustworthy person, at least for this, not for LG. Don't trust him when it comes to the hockey site. But when it comes to being a good person, definitely Foot's a all right source, and that money will be put to the right use for his friend to get home for winter break. All right, so that's it for the topics. Next up, we have the lineups of the week, East and West. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We are going to do the lineups of the week. It's going to be Garrett and myself. Fi's going to shut his mouth and take some notes on how good we do this. First off, I'm going to start with the East. Sean will be doing the West. First up, at right wing, from the Tampa Bay Lightning, we've got Don't Even Mata, however you want to say it. Excellent week, plus 17, 14 points, 10 goals, 4 assists, so the scoring machine of his line and who he's playing with. Another excellent statistic is a 66.7 shot percentage. No penalty minutes. He had 1 shorthanded goal. Very nice week for Mata. Next up at center, we've got the Islanders owner. I beat up Cakes. A 1-1-1 week. Not a great record, but he definitely put up some very good points. 10 points, 4 goals, 6 assists, plus 1. 36.4 shot percentage, 4 PIMs, 11 hits. Very good week for Cakes. Close loss, overtime loss to Boston, and a regulation loss to the Rangers. That's a tough loss for him. But Boston actually had a very good week, so losing in overtime to them is not the worst thing. Left wing here, we've got what would seem to be Mata's line mate, Batman. He had a 3-0 week, 19 points, 6 goals, 13 assists, plus 17. Batman, once again, putting up the numbers. People want to hate him, but come to the fact, the man puts up points every season now. He had a power play and a shorthanded goal this week. Getting some work done on the special teams. Wins over Boston, Montreal, and the Rangers. Next up, we've got the right defenseman from the Island with Cakes. He had a 3-0 week. That would be Kadarian TV. I guess Nuge's partner television sponsor. He was 3-0, 5 points, all assists, plus 9, 4 PIMs, 6 hits. Very nice week for Kadarian. Next up at left D, we've got his D partner, Sakic 19. If I said that right, I hope so. He also went 3-0, 4 points, 1 goal, 3 assists, plus 9. Only took 2 shots, so he got 1 goal, so that's 50% for you math nerds out there. 2 PIMs, 8 hits. Good week for Sakic. Islanders had a pretty good week, but not as good as we're used to seeing. You'll see that later in our show with the power rankings for the top 10. Last, we've got goalie Raptor0621. He put up it was tough for goalie this week. Garris and I really looked deep into the goalies.
Yeah, it's not Mindhunter this week.
It's not Mindhunter. Yeah, that's the biggest surprise of them all.
Yeah, maybe we're calling him out on it. Yeah, giving him exposure, and he's crippling your praise.
Yeah, and it was one or the other. Either a goalie had really good stats and not an like a 2-2 record, or a
Yeah.
goalie had terrible stats and went like 5-0 or 4-0. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we're gonna give it to Raptor this week. He went 5-0. He had an 87.5 save percentage and a 1.3 GAA. Really didn't face a lot of shots, but who cares? His save percentage and GAA is good. That's all that matters. He's 5-0, and he is your Eastern Conference goalie of the week. That's your Eastern lineup. Next up, West with Garis. Garis, what do we got?
So, starting off right wing, we have GB521. I personally made this decision. I'm not going to be biased towards the Edmonton Oilers. So, basically, Greg had a 3-0 week with 14 points, roughly 12 goals, 2 assists, shot the puck a lot. Had a pretty good week, over like a 40 shooting percentage, took 27 shots on the week, so that's pretty good shooting percentage. No penalties on the week, and went 3-0. Moving to our center, we have Bass L91L. Then again, 3-0 on the week, 9 points, 5 goals, and 4 assists. Did have a +7 rating, and his shooting percentage was roughly about 50 or so. Took 8 penalty minutes on the week, though, not very gentlemanly-like. And moving on to, I believe, his line mate and GM, we have Sezi19. I don't know if that's how you say his name. I'm just going to go with that. He had 12 points on the week, 5 goals, 7 assists, +8, and roughly about a 40, 50, 60 shooting percentage. Any one of those, I'm not good with math. Did have 4 penalty minutes, so he's following Bass, but not as bad with penalties. And then moving on to right defenseman, fellow Minnesota Wild teammate, Make Your Luck. Good friends of Bryson. He went 3-0 in the week, pretty much on the same line as Bass and Sezi, so you're kind of seeing a trend here. Had 6 points and was a +9 again. So he did take a lot of shots. He did take 8 shots in the week, so yeah, getting in the offense. And also 4 penalty minutes as well. So you're kind of seeing a trend with these Minnesota Wild. Moving on to official Mark 07, went 3-0 on the week, +4, 3 assists. He's a common factor, in this whole thing.
3rd straight week in a row for Mark.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to throw him anytime soon. And then finally moving on to goalie, we have XL Mac. I don't feel like saying his gamer tag.
No, let's not do the X and L's, please.
Yeah, I'm going to stutter. I believe that he went 5-1 on the week, pretty much a 1.2 goals against, and only gave up 8 goals and 86.7 shooting percentage. Behind a good LAD, he only faced less than 10 shots twice this week. So, caps off to him. Very good goalie. Known him ever since he's been in the CHL.
Yep. That's the West. Thank you, Sean. Good lineups. Next up, the man with the muted mic. He's going to get a chance to talk. I think we'll let him chime in here on the next segment, the very famous The Rebels Corner.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut.
Welcome back. We've got The Rebels Corner. Rebels Corner is a very popular segment on our show that I personally really enjoy doing because I don't have to talk as much. It's where we've got our hillbilly favorite here, Rebel2Clutch, otherwise known as Phi 1004. He's going to take it away and give you guys his Rebels.
That's right, Bryson. It's my turn to talk, okay? This is my segment. You sit there and you be quiet. All right, so you guys, I'm really excited about this Rebels Corner for this week. I think we got some really good performers. Starting off in the Eastern Conference, we spoke about them in length last week, the Chislett and Haxby line. Guess what? They ran into a fucking buzzsaw this week by the name of Prime Time. All right? Seasoned vet, knows how to get it done at right D for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Played Chislett's line this week, held them to 2 goals. 2 goals! These guys scored like 15 points or plus last week. And he showed up and he said, you know what, guys? Y'all sit down. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And he took it to them. Added a goal and 2 assists on 1 shot. 100% shooting percentage from the deep point. This guy added 4 hits, a power play goal, won the game for his guys 4-2 against that line. very impressive, and making D-Men's first appearance on the Rebels Corner, primetime right D for the Pittsburgh Penguins, your Eastern Conference Rebel of the Week. Moving on to the Western Conference, this one is not an individual performance, it's a forward line performance. These guys, they really stood out to me, and I'm honestly, hats off to them. I'm astonished at what they pulled off. Some no names, no offense to you guys, but I don't know who you are. Looks like an ECU line for the Colorado Avalanche went into Nashville and showed MTCC, aka Matt the Cool Cat, and I'm a boss. Who's really the boss? We got Shorty X Lose, C Silvery, and some fat geezer, and these guys managed to score 8 goals and beat Nashville with that line 8-6 on the road. I mean, unbelievable. They scored 5 goals in the third period to take that one. 50% shooting percentage on the answer, who's a pretty decent goalie. I don't know if he's having a rough time this season with the new game, but that's a name you expect to have some good performances. And these guys took it to him. One of the fat geezer had 50% shooting percentage, 2 goals on 4 shots. Silvery had 3 goals on 4 shots with the Hattie, and Shorty Lewis had 2 goals and added 5 assists. So, these guys, you wouldn't have expected it seeing them show up in the game lobby, but they came in and handled their business for Colorado. So I'm going to go give all 3 the nod for Eastern Conference Rebels of the Week. Oh, I'm sorry, Western Conference Rebels of the Week. Some fat geezer, C Silvery, and Shorty X Loose. Way to get her done, guys.
Yeah, Primetime finally earning his money, man. It's about time. Main event was telling me how terrible he is, so not sure why he went for so much. But no, Primetime definitely showing up for Pittsburgh, which Smarky was hoping to get out of him, and very good week for him. Great game for him, rather. And that Nashville line, that's pretty impressive. So good for them as well. That'll wrap it up for the Rebels Corner. Thanks a lot, Rebel. And next up, we've got the top 10 power rankings with the 3 of us clowns giving the rundown. Hope you enjoy. Maybe you want to stick around, see where your team landed. Maybe they didn't. Stay tuned.
Don't you remember we built this city?
Welcome back. We've got our last segment for you guys, the audience, the community. It's our top 10 power rankings. We're going to rotate the 3 of us going through the what we feel is the top 10. It was a extremely tough week to pick these teams. I've seen quite a bit of 5 and 4 teams. Some games that didn't have, I think, your Arizona, Sean, didn't have their second Wednesday game in. Yeah, no, they gave my Oilers the frickin' pounding. Not going to talk too much about that game. Bye. We're going to start off with Garis at number 10. Garis, take it away, buddy.
We have at number 10 the New York Islanders. I think they were number 1 last week. Didn't have too good of a week. They did go 5 and 4 with some key losses to Pittsburgh, Washington, and Boston. And they did lose to New York tonight. But they did beat like New Jersey, Toronto, Carolina, and Philly. Overall, a huge step down from last week, a huge drop. But I think they should be fine. Just a minor hiccup in the season. Teams have this every year.
Yeah, they're still first in the whole NHL, so I don't think they're sweating too much. Just one bad week. Cakes will know what to do with the team and to get it back on track. Fi, what do we have at number 9, buddy?
At number 9, and of course you would mention it beforehand and give me this fucking team, but the Arizona Coyotes come in at number 9 this week. I'm not sure if they were ranked last week or what they were ranked at. No, they weren't ranked last week. Decent week. As you mentioned before, they didn't have the San Jose game stats in for that, so I don't know if they went 6 and 3 or 5 and 4. But still a pretty good week. Anytime you have a guy like Garis on your team and you're still managing to go above 500, you probably got a pretty good roster.
Yeah, certainly get carried.
some okay losses. They lost to LA 3-1. They managed to beat Minnesota 5-4 and Calgary 2-1. So it looks like they're getting their points out of the division at least this week. And of course beating my line tonight. Another key win against Dallas 3-2. But the glaring loss on this week, and me personally, I wouldn't have put them in the top 10 for this loss to the Vancouver Canucks, 4-1. Please, I'm looking at it right now. Please tell me this was Garrett's line.
Oh, no, it was not my line. I did not lose. I don't mean to throw him under the bus, but I did not play that game.
It looks like the Copes Heat fan Gibby line lost to Hellcat, and it looks like Hellcat did all the damage, 4 goals on 9 shots. But, Hellcat, he's a premier player. You can understand that. But they had Stick and Fox at D with that offensive line, and they lost at home 4-1 to this terrible team. They still made it on the top 10, and that's what matters. So, number 9, your Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, Coyotes are no surprise, man. They're going to be in these rankings almost every week. Stick and Fox know how to run a solid ship. Next up, number 8, we've got a team that did very well last week. For some reason, we didn't have them ranked according to my paper, but they had a somewhat decent week, going 5-4. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs. Big wins over Tampa Bay, Montreal, Buffalo, Boston. Their losses came to some fairly good teams. Pittsburgh was one of them. Big beating against New York, 10-2. I like Toronto. I think they have a good team. I don't think they have a 100% complete competitive team that's gonna be a scare for the playoffs. I think they definitely need to make a few adjustments, but they definitely have a team that's winning enough games to keep them in the standings. So as long as they keep winning games and make the postseason, they'll do well. But they definitely need to. Their other lines definitely need to pick it up for them. Number 7, Garis, take it away.
We have the Edmonton Oilers, or the Edmonton Oilers, however you want to call them. They did go 6-3 on the week, I believe, or 6-2-1. I wasn't really sure.
6-1-2.
6-1-2. All right, 6-1-2. Thank you for the correction. They did beat like the San Jose, Winnipeg, Vancouver. Man, it looks like they had an easy week this week. But they did lose to Los Angeles, Calgary, and Arizona, all divisional games. Especially with the way their division is, it's going to be exciting to see because it could be flip flop. Usually, all week it's going to flip flop between who's leading the division and the conference as well. But still maintaining the same pace that they had. I don't expect you guys to slow down at all.
We won the games we were supposed to and lost the games that were tough games. LA being a tough one, Calgary, fuck you Chivs, being a tough one, and your Coyotes putting the beat down tonight. So yeah, I mean, hey, if there's games that we're gonna lose and it's gonna be those divisional teams. As far as if you ask me personally, I think LA, Arizona, and Calgary are. If you ask me, because I'm biased against my own team, I think we're the best team in the league. Of course I do. I'm the owner of my team. But I think the next best teams compared to us would be all those teams in our division.
Yeah,
they're tough
absolutely.
teams. I like the division. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun. It's fun having competitiveness. And, it's good to see, all of us doing well. So it brings us even more of a backup to why we are a good team, because we do have a tough division. But
yeah, I mean, a wise Golsky said that Chivs is considered a pizza topping. So I'd like to give that a shout out. I'd like to give a shout out to Golsky and Chivs.
Yeah, that's very good. I can't believe I forgot that. We were talking about the loss, and Golsky said, fuck Chivs, he's a pizza topping. I don't recall ever putting chives on a pizza topping. I know that's what he meant. Baked potato maybe, but pizza topping. That does it for me. Fine, take this one away. I can't stand him.
All right, next up we got the Tampa Bay Lightning. They making their first appearance on the power rankings at number 6. When you look at the roster, you see Don't Even Matter, and you see Batman, who made the lineup of the week, and Sweet Nine Lou. He's had those guys on his team for a few seasons now. I guess he's got a hard on for them. He's harder than the devil's dick on Sunday for these guys, but it proves dividends when he gets them on the lineup of the week and they're putting out the points that they do. Looking at their week, the stats aren't in for tonight. I don't know how they did against Buffalo, but either 5-4 week or 6-3, admirable week, making their first appearance on there. Key wins. They beat Detroit 6-0, shut them out. Shut out Columbus, so 2 shutouts on the week, barring tonight's results. That's pretty impressive. Not too many teams get multiple shutouts in a week. They pounded Boston 8-1. They beat up on Montreal 5-1, and then they destroyed the Rangers 10-2, which I'm going to assume that lineup of the week was in that game. Good week for them. Like I said, Sweet Nine Lou, he always manages to get his teams in position for the postseason. I don't expect this season to be any different. So for their first appearance on the power rankings at number 6, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Certainly have a way with words.
Yeah, excellent work there.
Good analogies.
Yeah. We're gonna move on to number 5. Number 5 here. Last week they were number 7. With my title here, Watman. According to Golski, it's not A, it's Foot's the only one that's allowed to have the A title apparently, and a large pie with chives. We've got the Calgary Flames. Excellent week for them, man. I mean, we're gonna see excellent weeks every week from them. They have a pretty well-rounded team. I mean, especially forward, I think they have 3 very good lines. They put in a 5-4 week. Key losses, divisional rival with the Coyotes, 2-1. 4-2 to Chicago. Chicago is a pretty decent team. 3-2 to LA and 3-0 to Anaheim. Their big wins came against Dallas, Oilers, Sharks. Sharks looking to rebound with A1 Freak his owner now. Just kind of like all these other teams we're seeing right now at the beginning of these power rankings. 5-4, so weeks. It was tough to decide who was more rewarding to be better, and I feel Calgary is an excellent team and definitely well deserving of being in the top 5 here for this week. People tend to forget Brando's running the team. You always see Chivs and Sloshy, the ones talking on the chat box, but they definitely have a team that's going to do well this season and definitely continue this success. Number 4, Garis, take it away.
We have the Minnesota Wild. Got off to a slow start to week 0-2, but certainly went on a 6-1 tear afterwards. Just a great week by Minnesota. Mainstay in the top 10, it seems like, so far this season. They did lose to not my Arizona Coyotes, and they also lost to Chicago. But they did pick up some wins against Dallas, Anaheim, and Winnipeg. Not the hardest week, but they got the victories where they needed them, and lost to some teams that I wouldn't be ashamed of losing to. But Minnesota is certainly a surprise. I mean, in most people's eyes, I knew that they're going to have a good run team, but it's going to be fun to see how they stay, especially in the Western Conference. I mean, they're obviously probably going to take the division, but it's going to be fun to see how they do.
Yeah, definitely a surprising week. Listen to me. Surprising season for Couture. He's done well with his team. I thought he had an excellent bidding, and they moved up. They were 6th the first week, 5 last week, and now 4 this week. They're slowly moving up in our power rankings. They have a very dangerous team. Why won't they keep the success up? They have the right personnel, and they're starting off strong. Look to see them to continue that success. Number 3, 5. We've got a surpriser here. I like this one. New team. Let's hear it.
At number 3, we do have a surprise, making their first appearance as the Columbus Blue Jackets. I guess that's why F5 Penguin wasn't here this week. He's too busy out celebrating the good week they had. So these guys, looking at their roster, they're not overly impressive. Potsy's ran a few Columbus teams that seemed to kind of hang around the bottom of the pack, occasionally making the playoffs. But they had a good week. They had solid wins against the Philadelphia Flyers, 4-2. 2-0 against Pittsburgh win, shutting down Pittsburgh, which we mentioned that they're a pretty solid team there in the East. They managed to beat New Jersey 4-3. If I look at the lineup they played there, Hurt was in the game, a top forward for the most part. Looks like they had the third line in, but still, getting a win over a quality team like that, especially when Rammers playing D, is pretty impressive. I think middle of the pack, 5-4, 6-3, like most teams this week, but an impressive week for that team, considering they haven't made an appearance on the power rankings yet. Some good wins, and hopefully that continues for those guys. Actually, 7-2 on the week. 7-2 is the final tally for those guys. So very impressive. Hopefully they can continue that in a competitive Eastern Conference. At number 3, your Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, Columbus, like we said, wasn't doing very well to start. Potsy had a rough time starting off as owner, but last season found some pretty good success, and honestly, I felt like he had a better roster. Well, maybe I would think a better roster this season. So, took a little time to get going. They're in a playoff spot. They went 7-2 this week. Not too bad of a week for Potsy and the boys on the Blue Jackets. Number 2, we've got, as you can see by my title, who it's going to be. It's the Pittsburgh Penguins. Smirky and Bradley. Man, all these forwards are red hot. They are lighting it up. They are playing extremely well. Not taken away from the other players on the team, Raptor, making the lineup of the week. Their only losses came to the Rangers, which is the only letdown for them this week. Their other loss was against the Blue Jackets, 2-0. We just mentioned them. Big wins over the Islanders, the Senators, 8-1 over the Senators, 4-2 over the Devils, 3-2 over the Leafs, and 2-1 over Philadelphia Flyers, and 5-1 over Carolina. I doubt they were playing against Gary Guru in that game. Again, I mean, Smirky, no surprises. They weren't ranked last week. I believe they had a rank in the first week. Smirky's running a good ship here in Pittsburgh. They're going to continue their success with no surprises, and Smirky definitely has, I think, one of the better forward groups in the league. You look, I mean, just name a couple of the names here: Bradley, Smirky, Mac, James, NFLD Tim, all very good forwards, all very well capable of putting up numbers. So, like I said, I'm not entirely surprised how well Pittsburgh's doing, and they're going to continue the success as the season goes on. And even more so relieving for Smirky is to see his success from his goalies as well. So that's your number 2, the Penguins. Let's hear what number 1 is there, Garis. No surprises here.
It's the LA Kings. Not really surprised by anyone this year, but did go 7-2 in the week. They only in their losses they only gave up 3 goals, but they were shut out in both games. But other than that, they held our division pretty easily. Besides Anaheim, 7-2. Usually just continue rolling every week consistently, finding a way to win games, and just not moving out of the top 5. But I mean, other than that, I'd like to see if anyone can dethrone them. And usually, the way their division works, I mean, usually I'd like to see probably 4 teams out of division be in the top 10 every week, because it seems like it's going to be that way. But LA, just continues to find a way, led by great management, solid depth, and it seemed to be a problem with Dave's teams in the past with his depth and finally goaltending. But it seems like they finally got a hot hands in net, and I'd like to see how it happens, towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm not going to rant about Dave and Space Jam all that much because we did last week, but they're yeah, I mean they're going to be on this list almost every week, if not all every week. I think the biggest thing that LA relies on, and it's not because their forwards can't score, because I know they can. It's not because their defense doesn't play well, because I know they can. It's just I think the goalie play is what this team relies on to be either top in a week to middle in the week. I think that their goalie play is what the difference is. Every week you're going to have the same success and production from your forwards and your defensemen, but Mac and Vesna, they play well. That's what's going to give them the jump to be the top team every week, without a doubt. Paul, you care to comment on the Kings being you played them on Sunday?
We had a great game against those guys. It was a tough OT loss for us. Hopefully, with the shorter video this week, Dave doesn't fall asleep in the middle of it, so we won't talk about him for too long. But I say it every week. What can you say about these guys? We're going to see them every week, I expect, on the power rankings. And shout out to them. Good job.
Yep, for sure. Good week for LA. That'll do it for our top 10 power rankings, and that'll do it for the show. Very quick one for you guys here. We didn't have too many people to chat with, but we got the job done, boys. Appreciate it. Y'all did a great job. Y'all listen to me. I'm hanging around the cowboy too much. I'm starting to say y'all, and I don't know what's going to come next. Maybe that crappy beer that you drink.
Yeah, his dialect and his mannerisms and expressions.
Embrace it, y'all. The South will rise again.
Oh.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Please no.
I'm not even going to get down that road. We're going to end the show there. Guys, thanks again. Like I said, I'm always appreciative of you guys joining me, and I'm appreciative of you guys watching the show. Hope everyone enjoyed. We will not be back next week. That's something I wanted to bring up in the show today. We are going to do a write-up version of the show with Thanksgiving weekend. I'm busy. I'm sure all of my hosts here are busy as well with family and.
Yeah, fuck Canada.
Oh wow, that's you just went from
kidding.
0 to 100. We have a lot of Canadian viewers. The only one you could say that to is Tris. Fuck him. But yeah, so we're gonna do some write-ups. Garis, myself, Rebel, I believe said he will do a little write-up of his own for the Rebels Corner. So we'll give you a little. For some of you people that are blind, maybe we can come up with a Brill version so you can feel your way through. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I mean, some of the communities certainly seems like they play blind, including myself, playing hockey blind.
There you go. Yep, playing hockey blind. So yeah, we'll have a write-up for you guys. It'll be a good read for you guys, and we will see you guys on this show in 2 weeks. So everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we will see you around.
Just another sign